Hello everyone, welcome. At this stage of our learning, the good news is that there's one more fun pattern for us to learn. And the bad news, of course, is that there's still one more thing for you to remember. So we've been going through what white needs to do in this situation. That's either playing this extension or playing this honey. So black, of course, should block here under most circumstances. And the correct move for white is this cut right here at E18. But as you're learning, you should be aware of another move, and that is this double honey. I wouldn't call this a trick move because most players will not fall for the trick. Of course, white is hoping that black will capture number 14 this way, and white will take the entire corner. This pattern seems like this Joseki on the lower left, which is an actual Joseki. But this works for black because these two stones, 21 and 23, are not completely dead. White is still relatively weak on the outside, and there's still moves like 35 that can make use of these two dead stones. But compare this situation on the lower left to the top left. The top left, black is completely dead. There's nothing else for black to play. So that's why the top left is totally not acceptable for black. So what should black do in this situation? It's actually not a great move for white. And the answer is pretty easy. All you need to do is to cut here first. Play this Atari. White will have to connect. Number 15 is always one of white's weaknesses in its shape. And all black needs to do is to capture number 12. And now white, depending on whether it can capture number 15 on the ladder, if it can, right, let's say if white already has something here that will make the ladder successful, it will just capture number 15. If not, white will have to play something like this. And this pattern locally favors black because black is completely alive, and because number 15, white's wall is still weak. And sometime in the future, black might be able to pull out number 15 and attack white. Even if white can capture number 15 on the ladder, white is still pretty weak here on the left side because there are all kinds of moves that black can play to break into the territory on the left side, right? This clamping move, 23, really harsh. White cannot stand down here. If you stand down this way, then white will be captured. So this is not okay for white. So black can come in here actually very easily. And white's wall is relatively weak, and of course, black will have all kinds of moves on the right side to threaten to break the ladder. So that's always going to be a headache for white. Another good thing about number 15 is that after this exchange, with 14 and 16 and number 8 here, number 11 is already not important anymore, right? So losing number 11 doesn't really matter. As long as black captures number 12, black actually is very strong and white becomes very weak here. So this is the shape that you need to understand. Of course, there are other variations that you should pay attention to. So the first one, I guess, would be when white, let's say, can capture black on the ladder, white can just capture number 15 this way. And black can take sente, right? So the idea is similar. Black can come into the left side very easily if it wants to. But if you play here right now when the board is empty, again, this is a move on the second line, so it's relatively slow. You may not want to play it right away, but black has sente in this situation. Again, not great for white. If we are only talking about proper moves by black in this situation, we can end the video there. But there's actually something really interesting, and that is black trying to capture right here. And this will lead to a very complicated pattern, potentially. But this is actually the wrong move, right? So number 15 right here is the wrong move for black, because white can take care of this weakness very easily, either here with this double tiger's mouth, right? So white can take care of its own weakness on the outside. And now, number 17, again, it's a move on the second line. It's moving into the left side, but it's not as harsh. White's shape is still pretty complete, and this actually favors white by a little bit. So the difference here is actually pretty subtle, right? When black gets to play this cut, it's going to favor black, even if number 15 gets captured on the ladder. But if black allows white to take care of this weakness, this cutting point, then this will favor white. So this is the correct move, number 16 right here for white, if black captures first without playing the Atari and connect. But what's really interesting is that if white also plays the wrong move at number 16, so again, 15, 16, both are wrong moves locally in this situation. But this will lead to a very interesting pattern. And that is when black captures number 14 this way, white will not be able to capture black again. So this is going to be very problematic for white. So white plays a series of cutting at number 20 and 2 Atari moves at 22 and 24. So we get to the cross again, except that now this is a race to capture. And if you ask AI at this point, black already has a 95% chance of winning, right? It might seem a little strange. So of course, white will have to play here. Otherwise, black will win this race to capture very easily. And white had this corner to begin with. So this is not acceptable for white. The corner is pretty big. Black is very strong on the outside too. And white is very weak on the outside. So this is not okay for white. So white will have to play this hane. And now what's happening is that this is going to be a ko. And the good thing for black is that black can actually take sente. And there's still nothing white can do to prevent a ko. White cannot capture cleanly, even if it plays 2 consecutive moves after number 25. So that is the first thing that favors black, because black actually has sente in this situation. And another thing is that if white wants to capture black, what can it do? It can only play from the outside. Right? This is the best way. You have to play this descent on the outside. If you throw in here first, then this is going to be black capturing first. Of course, white has a local co-threat here, and number 30 you can connect here. Black will have to answer on the outside, and white gets to capture back. But still, black captures first at number 29. So that's the wrong move for white. If white stands down from the outside, now black will have to throw in first, right? Black cannot play on the outside this way. White can come in and capture black this way. So there are 2 options for black. One is to throw in here, a little problematic, right? If white captures this way, then black has 2 options. One is to throw in this way, but this is going to be higher stakes, right? White can capture this way to win this ko, and black will be completely wiped out. Even so, this still favors black if black can get to play on the outside, right? So all of a sudden, it seems like black has occupied 3 corners, while white only has 1. Another option for black is to throw in this way, and this will be a 2-step ko. So white captures back, and if, let's say, black captures back here, black will need another move. So it's 2 steps instead of just 1. So it's going to get a little complicated. So that is why, to make things easier, black can just throw in here first. And now white gets to capture first. And black will have to find something else on the outside. White answers, black can capture back, and white has 1 more local co-threat here. Black must play on the outside, and white gets to capture back. So this ko will go on, but the conclusion here is very important for you to remember. This favors black, because black has sente after number 26 in the situation, and black can get to play 2 moves, even if it loses. And when it loses, these 4 stones on the outside are okay. It's actually not a bad shape. That limits white's influence on the upper side here. And if black wins, then white will be very weak on the outside. So this is a pattern where you just kind of have to remember who it favors and try to go through the reasons why it favors black in this situation. A little confusing. You could be thinking, because white can capture all these black stones, it might favor white, but that's not how it works. Because black has sente in this situation, and if white is to win, then black will get to play 2 more consecutive moves on the outside. Of course, you might be saying, if black wins, white can also play 2 consecutive moves on the outside. But the corner here is just that white has more to lose, because white occupied the corner to begin with. So once again, number 15 is the wrong move in this situation. White should connect on the outside, and if white also Atari's here, then we'll get to the pattern we just saw, which will favor black. And that's actually it for this double hane move. It exists because of this exchange. Number 12 and 13 really tighten the liberties here. As we mentioned before, if you play the double hane first, then it's not going to work. because black can simply take care of number 12 first and preserve these 3 stones very easily. So this is not going to favor white. This is about even, maybe favoring black slightly. So once again, the trick is to play the hane first and play the double hane next. Once again, sequence really matters in Go. If you have any questions or confusion, please let me know in the comment section below. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you for watching.